Beneath this landscape lies enough energy to power the world for decades. It's the reason entire cities here went from nothing to global capitals in a single generation. Not gold, not rare earths, but something so powerful it reshaped borders, rewired the global economy, and still determines who holds influence today. And here's what most people don't realize. This place had everything it needed to become rich millions of years before a single grain of sand appeared. So what's really hidden under the world's richest desert? And why does it still matter? Well, to answer that, we need to go back hundreds of millions of years. Today, the Arabian Desert covers nearly 900,000 square miles, spanning almost the entire Arabian Peninsula. But what we see on the surface is misleading, because for most of its geological history, this region wasn't dry at all. It was underwater. But how does an ancient ocean end up deciding who holds power today? Hundreds of millions of years ago, the Arabian Peninsula sat beneath the Tethys Ocean, a warm, shallow sea filled with plankton, algae, and microscopic life. When these organisms died, they sank to the sea floor. In parts of this ocean, water circulation was poor and oxygen was scarce. So without oxygen, organic matter doesn't decay. It was preserved. Over time, thick layers of organic carbon built up, the essential raw material for oil. So how does organic matter turn into oil, and why didn't it disappear like it did in most other places? As millions of years passed, sediment buried this preserved organic matter deeper and deeper. Pressure increased, heat rose. At depths of several kilometers, a process called catagenesis transformed the organic remains into oil and gas. But formation alone wasn't enough. The oil had to stay put. Porous limestone and sandstone acted like sponges, holding it in place. Above them, layers of shale and salt sealed everything in. And crucially, the tectonic plate beneath this region remained unusually stable. No violent mountain building, no geological chaos, which meant the oil stayed trapped for millions of years. Now we understand where the oil came from. Why is there so much of it here? This region benefited from a rare combination of advantages. First, enormous quantities of organic source rock. Second, perfect timing. The oil stayed in the oil window long enough to accumulate at massive scale. Third, long-term tectonic stability preserved vast reservoirs. The result is oil fields like Gawar, the largest conventional oil field on Earth, over 8,400 square kilometers in size. And because these reservoirs are shallow, onshore, and highly permeable, oil flows easily into wells. That's why production here can break even at only $10 to $12 per barrel. This wasn't just abundant oil, it was oil with a structural advantage. But for millions of years, none of it mattered, until humans found it. In 1908, oil was discovered in Persia, modern-day Iran, at Masjid-i Suleiman. It was the Middle East's first major breakthrough. 30 years later, after repeated failures, Saudi Arabia struck oil at Dammam Well No. 7 in 1938. That single discovery changed everything. Exploration accelerated, infrastructure followed. What had been sparsely populated land suddenly became one of the most strategically important regions on Earth. But underground wealth alone doesn't build prosperity. So what does? As oil revenues surged, roads, ports, airports, and power grids followed. Dammam grew from a fishing village into a metropolitan area of over 2 million people. Riyadh expanded from a small political center into a city of 8 million, funded by oil-backed infrastructure. Dubai used early oil revenues to build ports and airports, then leveraged them into trade, finance, and tourism. Across the Gulf, population patterns were rewritten. The surface changed as dramatically as the geology below it. If oil created this much wealth, why did it lift some countries and devastated others? Oil doesn't guarantee prosperity. Institutions do. In Gulf monarchies, oil revenues were tightly controlled, allowing governments to avoid relying on taxation. Instead, they reinvested rents into welfare, infrastructure, and stability. Power consolidated, allowing long-term planning and prosperity. In countries with weak or fragmented institutions, oil had the opposite effect. In places like Venezuela, Nigeria, and Angola, oil revenues fueled corruption, volatility, and conflict. The same resource produced radically different outcomes. The difference wasn't underground, it was political. Today, what's hidden beneath this region isn't just oil, it's financial power. Gulf states converted oil revenues into sovereign wealth funds worth trillions of dollars. These funds invest globally in infrastructure, technology, healthcare, and energy. Even as oil's dominance faces pressure from climate change and the energy transition, these states are converting ancient geology into long-term influence. The land didn't become powerful because of oil alone. It became powerful because of the institutions built on top of it. If this video helped you see the world a little differently, consider subscribing. This channel is about uncovering the hidden forces shaping global power, and the next story might surprise you even more.